Good afternoon. This is Rebecca Venegas, and welcome back to Living on High Alert. Today we're going to really get into and talk about something that I think that's going to affect our country on a national level. And this is going to be really directed at Mrs. Cortez, the Congresswoman. I'm going to make this, I'm going to change my format because everything that I do unedited. So you're just getting raw footage of every episode that I do. I think that's very important because if you start editing, you change the mood of things. And I need to really stay on tack to what's going to take place because this is going to be a very important session. And I also want to call upon at the end of people to support me. This is about Congresswoman Alexandria Cortez. You have gone on social media and you're not accusing my President Trump, of rape. You are literally labeling him as a rapist president. And that's why you will not, and you did not attend his inauguration. Well, let me explain something to you, Ms. Cortez. From now on, I'll refer to you as AOC. There's a difference between free speech and putting your point across. That's why we live in this country. And this is why we have our American flag and our servicemen and women that have granted you and I platforms to where we could speak. But there is a difference between labeling somebody a rapist, as you have worldwide, to your millions of followers. Okay. What's most important to me is that you're labeling me also as somebody that supported a rapist for president. You are literally saying to me, putting a target on my back, that I voted for a rapist. So let's make it very clear. I would never support a convicted rapist. And if they were ever proven to be a rapist, there isn't any American woman, Democrat, Republican, that would support this. So we're going to talk about this, and we're going to talk about it extensively because this is something that's not going to occur anymore. You're not going to have a free platform to just say what you want to say without consequences. Not in this administration. Maybe you got away with it in your last administration and you could throw tantrums, you can just have outbursts and do whatever you want. But you are going to be accountability. Now, there's going to be accountability now. And I'm going to address this over and over because make very sure what my intent is. My intent is that I'm going to call on every MAGA supporter, men, women, and Democrats, and just Americans. I am going to file a civil lawsuit because you are harming me, you are harming my livelihood, you are harming my grandchildren, my granddaughters, by making a bold statement that the president, the 47th president, the president of the free world, is a rapist. So that is my opening statement to you. So let's talk about what your platform gives you and everybody else. We live in a world of social media. In my era, we didn't have it. We only had CNN, and we were all tuned in to such a remarkable, newsworthy station because it connected us to our loved ones in Vietnam. It was the only source really that we felt that we had, that we could turn on our television and see what was happening in Vietnam. And I know because my brother was a Vietnam veteran and he served in Vietnam in the 1st Marine Division. I replayed and replayed and replayed and looked at your social media account. And I also saw you with Elon Musk and how you said to him he had the audacity to make a Nazi sign behind the seal of the United States. And then on the other hand, you use that same seal to call my president, Donald J. Trump, a rapist. So what is your point, AOC? You see, you're going to find, and everyone's going to find out this time around, words are going to be accountable, actions are going to be accountable, and we don't need for big media companies, corporate media companies. This is coming from the American people. We're going to stand together. We're going to stand together because we're trying to heal our country, AOC. We're trying to work with you and the Democratic Party and all Americans to come together. So I have a humble podcast, a small podcast. But what I am going to ask now on my social platform is that Joe Rogan, Bill O'Reilly, Judge Janine, Judicial Watch, Tucker, Callie, all of you to get behind me and give me a voice on your platform to let everybody know that the buck stops here. I'm going to ask everybody that would want to join me on a class action lawsuit because I did not vote for a rapist. I voted for a president that I felt that could bring the country together and implement change that would move us forward. I voted for a president to close my borders and deport them legally. I voted for a president that you are born either a male or a female. Now, as you grow older and you make your own decisions and you choose to do as you want or how you choose to identify yourself, that is your American right to do so. And if you want to change your birth certificate, that is your right. That is your choice. I am not supposed to interfere with that, and I will not voice other than there is 2 genders. I voted for a president that reinstated our military that were discharged because they would not take a COVID vaccine. I voted for a president that stops transgender sports. We have a female sport, we have a male sport. If you want to create a transgender sport, this is why we live in America, AOC. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty of what I voted for when I voted for my president. And my party won. So all come together and let's make a bold statement. I'm just one person, one foot soldier in America that's going to stand up for my country and it's going to stand up for my president. I will do your battles for you, President Trump. I will be your foot soldier in the field. I will shut down however possible I can if you are right. And only if you are right. So I ask you all, my Trump MAGA supporters, get behind me and let's end this. Let's nip this in the bud right now. Let's not go through 4 years of this foolishness of you could say what you want, do what you want with no consequences. It's not going to happen. You know, America is off to a great start. Yes, we had a change in command and we had a change in power of policies. But why can't we still be Americans? Why can't we come together to protect our country? I'll tell you why. Because you still have the ones that want that 15 minutes of fame. You still want those last diehards to tear my country apart. You want those last ones that didn't get their way and their toys were taken away from them, and the swamp is going to be drained completely. We have a big task, America. $7, $9, $8 for a dozen eggs. What is wrong with our focus? So when I talk about national security, of protecting our country, because this is what my podcast is all about. It is about living on high alert constantly. But it's supposed to be from foreign enemies. It's supposed to be from military going out and securing our American soil. It's not supposed to be a congresswoman or anybody else threatening the security of our country as you have, AOC. So you may continue to voice your opinion with using threatful language. That is your choice to do that. But remember my name, Rebecca Venegas. I am a Republican. I am a baby boomer. I am a mother, a grandmother, a great-grandmother. I've been in the corporate private sector for 50 years. I've seen a lot of change during my time and during my era. And you are no match for me because I know how to do things right. I know how to address issues and I know how to solve problems. If you want to come to the table and work with us as a voice, allow us to uplift you. Allow us to get behind you of what your concerns are or what you would like to see this administration do. But you are not going to get any support with threats. If you want to have a one-on-one conversation with me, I am open because you will find me to be a listener. But I will not tolerate you talking over me, screaming at me. It's not the way I do things. It was not the way that I was brought up to have conversation. But make no mistake, I'm strong, and I'm a strong woman because I'm an American first before my party, and this is what's going to separate me from all that you have encountered. So let's go back and listen to your words. What point were you trying to make? Because you called President Trump a rapist and you weren't going to support him. Okay? What are you trying to do to the country? Keep them divided? So these are questions that you're going to have to ask yourself. Because as of this moment, and it could be a very small civil lawsuit and it could just be me, but you are harming my well-being, my state of mind, and that won't make me a productive person. So let's switch gears a little bit. You've come in during a Democratic administration. You have been referred to now as AOC. You have been referred to now as one of the original squad leaders. These are titles that mean nothing to me. To me, you are Congresswoman Cortez, and you deserve the respect of every American, Democrat or Republican, but you have to earn it. and you have not done so. You know, we have big issues on our plate right now. We just passed the Lake and Riley Act. Do you know how important that is, AOC? Do you realize that this was a young woman, life that was taken from her from an illegal? Can you imagine what she was going through at the time of her death? Could you imagine what she was feeling and calling for her mother, her father? Did you ever stop to think of how important passing this act is? You know, I have 2 beautiful granddaughters, 3 actually. I can't even imagine what it would feel like if harm came to either one of them in that manner. Because I know they would be looking for me. And I've always said to them, and I've taught them since little girls, if you ever get abducted, if you ever get taken, I'm coming for you. I'm going to lace up my combat boots and I'm coming for you. And God help the ones that have taken you. And don't ever think that for one moment, Nana is not on her way. So I'm trying to make you see, AOC, when you label somebody a rapist, regardless if he's a president or not, that's a serious, unspeakable crime. And I hope that it never comes to your doorstep. But it has come to the doorstep of American families. So let's go back a little bit. Let me refocus a little bit on something else, because this whole podcast is about you, AOC, because you were never on my radar. I knew of you. I listened to you a little bit, but never focused on you. But now you will always be on my radar. Every move, every word, everything that you do. And I hope that you take this at heart and you start doing the right thing. You start focusing on our country and me as an American, not a Republican. And maybe this country can heal. We've had a horrible 4 years, whether you want to admit it or not, or anybody wants to admit it or not. And I don't like what your party did to my president, President Biden. He needed your help, your understanding. He was not in the position for a very long time to run this country, but you put him out there for the world to see, to mock him, because he didn't have the ability to move forward as a speaker, as the leader of the free world, and your party kept parading him around. That was my president also, even though he was Democrat. And that's what you did to him. That's what your party did to him. They made him a laughing stock. And he wasn't. He was a man trying to run a country, even though in my eyes, in my personal opinion, he didn't do it very well. But he was still the president of the free world. And you mocked him. Your party mocked him. You cut short his presidency. And that told me one thing when you did that. That told me that he was in no position to rerun, to not be reelected. But you should have told that to the country a long time ago. You would have been surprised at how much support you would have had. At least mine. So this is why I say to you, AOC, there's a lot for you to learn. And there's a lot for you to understand about the Americans out here, us foot soldiers. Not the party that you live in. Not the socialite that you feel that you are. Not that, you go to maybe you hold a little town hall meeting, and you do whatever you feel that's necessary. And I've seen your town hall meetings and what's happened to them. And I see the non-support of your party towards you. And I also saw that you applied for, I say, a position within your party, a high-ranking one. And they denied you. And then you blamed an old white man that got the job, a Democrat. So listen to what your party's telling you. If you want this to be something that you want as a career, you need to change gears, and you need to change them fast. You need to disengage, not engage. That's number one rule. So out of everything that you've done and everything that you've said, never came to my doorstep until you called my president a rapist. Now, I'm going to carry that with me until you correct it. I don't expect an apology from you for you to apologize to this country. Every American, not a Democrat or Republican, every American, it would behoove you or me for you to get on your social media platform and apologize and say that that's not the avenue that you want to go down. You did the same thing with Elon Musk. You ramped and raved about Elon Musk, and you better listen to me, and am I making myself clear? Those were your words, and that was your tone, AOC. Don't fight battles that you can't win. Be smart. And this is a battle that you're not going to win, not from this administration and not from these Americans. A lot of people don't understand or haven't come to terms that we live in a different era now from my time when we voted. And we picked a candidate, we picked a president, and we moved on. These are dangerous times, AOC. Do you ever think of a father out there, or a husband, or a grandfather, or a brother, or an uncle, or a cousin, a man who had or watched their loved one raped and tortured? Thinking that now this is a man that did this and is running our country. Do you understand the repercussions of what your words mean and say? You need to correct this, and you need to correct this fast. But that is your option. And you need to tone down what you did. And if you do, I have no desire to follow through with a personal civil lawsuit, because I will turn this into a class action lawsuit. So for everybody that's out there, including myself, we have to be very, very cautious of what we say and how we say it. Because there is somebody out there is just waiting to take our words literally and act upon them, as I have. I took your words, AOC, literally. I took them to put my life in danger, my livelihood in danger, my podcast, in danger, because you have put a target on my back saying that I voted for a rapist. You labeled me when you labeled my president. I'm going to say this through this podcast because it's very important. So getting back to living on high alert and why this was such an important venture for me is because I wanted to keep the public informed about what affects our country as a whole. I never dreamt in a million years, AOC, that I would be talking about you. I thought I would be talking about the border. I thought I would be talking about missile launches. I thought I would be talking about our military. I thought I would be talking about our schools. I never dreamt that you would be at my forefront, but you are. So this is why in the beginning, I am asking you, Mr. Joe Rogan, Mr. Bill O'Reilly, Mr. Sean Hannity, Callie, Laura Ingalls, to just Joe Walk, Tucker Carlson, Tom, anybody. Let's move this forward. Let's not let this go down without a fight. I am going to be posting a letter to all Americans because you can certainly send me all your concerns at Secure Media. No, I'm going to give you a different one, and I will post it also. securguardmedia at gmail.com, and it's spelled securgardmedia at gmail.com. I will post it. Allow me to give you the opportunity to join me in a civil lawsuit, America. Allow you to have a voice, whether you agree with me or disagree with me on how I feel about this issue. But I will not allow you to use this platform to grieve that you support her. If you support her, you stay on her platform. Don't come to mine, because that will only increase what my mission is going to be. You know, it's really a sad day, America, that this is what we're focusing on. It's really a sad day in our country after having an election, a fair election, allowing the people to voice their opinion and cast their vote. It's a really sad day that this is what we are doing on social media. And it's very disappointing to me, being that I've been through many elections and I've watched my mother work on John F. Kennedy's campaign. She was at the polls to now. So let's go ahead. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back and I'm going to answer a few questions that have been already ringing and coming through, and then we will go from there. Thank you.